More than 170 women died as a result of intimate partner violence in Italy last year, while a United Nations report found domestic abuse as the most pervasive form of violence in the country. Although new laws on fighting and preventing gender violence have been introduced since the UN report, Italy continues to be a country where violence against women is not properly tackled, as Max Civile now reports.
Being a woman in Italy, the EU's third biggest economy, is not an easy task by any means these days. All major socioeconomic indicators show how disadvantaged women are in the country compared to the rest of the Eurozone. Not only Italy holds the highest level of female unemployment in Europe, being Italian women the most inactive in the labor market with a percentage of almost 50%, but they are also the worst paid.
Di queste donne che lavorano.
The problem of the role of the woman in our society is very much felt today. The future of our families is at stake.
La donna adesso lavora, prima qui.
Women work today, while they used to mind the family until not long ago. Well, actually they don't exactly work, they help in the house earning some petty cash.
E perché c'è ancora una cultura molto maschilista.
A male-dominated mainstream culture persists in Italy, a country in which women continue to be objectified and have limited or unequal access to the labor market. As a matter of fact, we still largely occupy lower status positions than men. But it is within domestic walls that the situation for women is even worse. I'd say tragically worse at times.
A United Nations report on domestic violence in Italy denounces that domestic abuse is the most pervasive form of violence in the country, affecting over 30% of women in 2013. The UN study also warns that the majority of women who were abused, almost 90%, did not report the incidents to the police. A recent report on domestic violence by Social and Economic Researchers Institute EURES found that over 2,300 women were murdered in Italy. Practically one woman is killed within domestic walls in the country every other day.
Recently, a male tried to burn his wife alive with some flammable liquid while she was asleep. Their apartment caught fire and the woman ended up in tears, thinking that her husband had died in the fire, while the man had already left the place out of the conviction that his wife was dead. Women generally don't report their partners to police simply because they want to try to fix the relationship.
Il giornalismo in questo ancora pecca moltissimo.
In Italy, media continue to look for justifications to domestic violence against women. One day the violence is due to jealousy, the next to the economic crisis. This is unacceptable. A man that murdered or hit his partner has a serious problem and the authorities must intervene.
Recently, the Puglia region government has been admitted as civil plaintiff in the trial of a man who killed his companion and then burned her corpse in the province of Bari about a year ago. It is the first time ever that an Italian authority takes part as civil plaintiff in such a trial.
Le ragioni sono di doppia natura.
Our administration has opted to take part in the process as a civil plaintiff for political and tactical reasons. When a woman is murdered, it is the entire collectivity that suffered the damage. Consequently, we act in the name of the collectivity. Secondly, we also try to win some compensation for the children and relatives of the victims.
About 16 months ago, the Italian government passed a new decree targeting crimes such as stalking of women and domestic violence. Today, the number of murdered women and domestic violence cases has not decreased. Until Italian society changes its cultural attitude towards women's rights, domestic violence will continue to be the country's ugly struggle. Max Civile for Reporters File, Rome.